Two barangays and two hotels in the city of Manila will be placed under lockdown due to spikes in COVID-19 cases. Meanwhile, in Quezon City, several areas were placed under special concern lockdown, also because of the increasing number of COVID-19 infections. To ensure public compliance with health protocols, more cops are being deployed in different areas across the metro, especially in Pasay and Navotas. Speaking of Navotas, Mayor Tiangco says a citywide lockdown would be unavoidable if the surge in COVID-19 infections continue. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. Kicking off today's newscast with the city government of Manila placing two barangays under a 4-day lockdown due to the increasing number of COVID-19 cases. Under Executive Order Number 6, barangays 351 and 725 will be locked down from midnight on March 11 to 11:59 p.m. of March 14. This comes after both barangays recorded a combined 26 active cases as of Wednesday. Two hotels in Barangay 699 will also be placed under lockdown. These include the Malate Bayview Mansion, where 14 confirmed cases have been detected, and the Hop-In Hotel, which has 3 active cases. Several areas in Quezon City have been placed under special concern lockdown to address the growing number of COVID-19 cases in the city. The local government has zeroed in on the 12 areas that you're seeing on your screens, instead of placing entire barangays or villages under community isolation. The city government promised to distribute food packs and hygiene kits to residents of these areas, all of whom should undergo swab testing and 14-day quarantine. In a radio interview, Mayor Joy Belmonte said affected residents, including essential workers, will not be allowed to leave their homes for the duration of the lockdown. She also said that the city government will write to their employers to explain the situation. Otherwise, employees will have no choice but to look for other places where they can stay until after the lockdowns have been lifted. Navotas Mayor Tiangco says imposing an ECQ over the city might be unavoidable if coronavirus infections continue to rise. This despite recommendations from the IATF to impose granular lockdowns instead of placing entire cities under community isolation. Tiangco explains they have not loosened up restrictions in Navotas, and he says they're still imposing curfew hours and granular lockdowns as necessary. But Tiangco says ECQ might be back on the table if cases continue to rise despite their efforts to curb community transmission.
As much as possible, ayaw na natin bumalik sa ECQ, no? But what I have been explaining to our kababayans, to our constituents is this, no? Pag hindi umubra yung lockdown ng Eskinita, what happens next? Pupunta tayo sa lockdown na mas malaking kalsada, di ba? Pag hindi pa rin umubra yung lockdown na mas malaking kalsada, pupunta tayo sa lockdown ng barangay. Eh pag lahat ng barangay na-lockdown na, di ganun din ang epekto nun.
Here are the biggest stories from the dailies. The Philippine Star reports that more police personnel are being deployed to COVID hotspots. For one, the PNP deployed 180 more police officers in Pasay City to help strictly enforce health standards. They say deploying additional forces will help the Pasay police to remind people to constantly wear face masks and face shields, as well as maintain physical distancing in public places. From Filipino Star ngayon, the Philippines will sign a supply deal with Novavax today for the delivery of 30 million vials of its vaccine. UK trials have found the two-shot vaccines to be 96% effective against the coronavirus and 86% effective against the British variant. But the vaccine was found to be only 50% effective against the South African variant, according to the MIT Technology Review. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez visited India to negotiate the orders, but Novavax has yet to receive emergency use authorization from the FDA. And this from the Freeman, up to 20,000 AstraZeneca doses will arrive in Cebu today. The health department says these vaccines will be administered mainly to senior medical frontliners or those aged 60 and above. This as Sinovac has been approved for those between ages 18 to 59 only. The government confirms that almost 40,000 citizens have been vaccinated against COVID-19 since the start of the rollout. In an interview with 1PH sa Totoo Lang, NTF Deputy Chief Implementer Vince Dizon explained that since they're still at the early stages of the vaccine program, the schedule of inoculations is not steady just yet. But with more vaccines coming in, Dizon believes more and more people will get immunized in the coming days.
Tingin natin ay tataas ng tataas yan habang yung mga bakuna ay dumarating na sa mga iba't ibang mga hospitals. Kasi ang objective is pagdating ng bakuna sa isang ospital, yan kagad ay babakuna kagad sa ating mga healthcare workers, both Sinovac at AstraZeneca. So siguro abangan lang natin yung mga numbers na lalabas in the next couple of days para mas maintindihan natin kung ano ang kaya nating ibakuna sa kada araw.
And with Moderna vaccine slated to arrive in the country by mid-year, Dizon believes that the FDA will immediately grant its EUA. And as for Russia's Sputnik V vaccine, the official says the FDA might issue its EUA very soon.
Ang sa Sputnik 5 po, na from Russia, ito po ay pagkakaalam ko ay nasa latter stages na ng evaluation ng FDA. Ayoko lang pong pangunahan ng FDA pero tingin ko naman po mabilis na ginagawa ito ng FDA at siguro lalabas na po ito very soon.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Lawmakers are now pushing for a unified contact tracing protocol in the country. This to avoid confusing the public with multiple contact tracing apps being used in different establishments and LGUs. But is this even possible? Ria Fernandez reports.
Journalist Edu Punay has at least 3 contact tracing mobile apps. One for Quezon City where he works, the rest are for cities where he does grocery runs.
Medyo hassle for us because you have to conform or follow the rules per LGU na pupuntahan mo.
For some LGUs, digital contact tracing is more convenient and safer than manually filling out forms. But the use of multiple apps can also get confusing. That's why lawmakers want a unified contact tracing protocol in the country.
When the government started its contact tracing, the Stay Safe app was supposed to be the central depository of all visitor information.
But LGUs and business establishments have their respective contact tracing apps. Contact tracing czar Benjamin Magalong admits the challenges of having multiple apps at the same time.
Kakaroon po tayo ng problema nung bigla na lang po uling different agencies came up with their own contact tracing application without us conducting due diligence and without consultation with us.
It was June last year when the Interagency Task Force announced that Stay Safe will be the government's official contact tracing app. It was also this time when the Health Department and app creator Multisys forged a deal. Under the deal, Multisys will donate Stay Safe to the government, including its data ownership and corresponding intellectual property rights. But Multisys founder and CEO David Almirol says the DOH does not seem interested.
I told them already, now why you need to set up the server because we're donating also the server itself. We feel like DOH don't want us actually on the integration side.
But the DOH says Multisys does not have a certification from the Information and Communications Department.
Kasi ayaw namin mapagod yung mga tracers ng mga local government unit.
The DICT says it's studying how to integrate Stay Safe with other apps. But for Magalong, Stay Safe should just be the sole contact tracing app. For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
And there's no doubt about it, SB19 is ready for world domination as the group finally unveiled its new era with the release of their new single, What? Pablos. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us later at 10 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines.